I'd like to share with you a great tool in itsLearning called ePortfolio. You can get to ePortfolio by clicking on the blue tab near the top of your page called ePortfolio. When you do this, it will take you to a menu of options that you can use, and we'll go through a few of these today so you can get a better idea of what you can do here. Now, ePortfolio is another way for you to share your information publicly, even if our websites go away. But not only that, but it's a way for your students to share information and things they're doing in the classroom with others. It's kind of like them having their own mini web pages. So let me show you how this works. ePortfolio is actually a collection of portfolios that make up one major portfolio, I guess you could say. And there's different types of things you can use here. You can do a blog, you can do portfolios that are made up of images and work, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can use this. Well, first of all, you're going to want to start out with the About Me page. When you click on About Me, it will take you to your page, and I've already started creating mine. You may notice from some of my previous videos that it looks dangerously similar to my web page. And that would be because I went to my web page, click and drag my information across the page, Control C, and then came back here, Control V, and pasted it right here. It pasted my pictures and my information right within the page. Beautifully, I might add, so you don't have to retype anything. I also added my email address, which is my school email, and you can also upload a picture, but since I've already included my picture at the top, I'm not going to add any more pictures today. Once I do this, I'm going to click Save, and it saves my information in the About Me area. Now, this is another way for parents to kind of get to know you in a public website type of way, even if they can't quite log into itsLearning yet, because you'll be able to share this website, and I'll show you in just a moment how to do that. Another thing you can do with ePortfolio is you can start a blog. This is a great way to get your students journaling or sharing information with one another, and it allows others to comment back on their blog, and it would usually be used with students. You might be able to even use it with parents commenting on the blog depending on how you have it set up. Now you'll see that my access says it's available on the internet and it says inherited, and I'm going to show you that in just one moment how I got that set up. But to add a blog entry, you simply click the plus sign and it will take you to a blog entry. I've already created one called What is Creativity? And when you click on this, it takes you to a rich text editing feature where you can add in different things. You can add in your title, of course, and you can insert much as you other things. You can do an audio recording, video, you can add Web 2.0 content, images, and of course you can type in information. So with this, I just talked about creativity, and I did my little blog post, and you can either unpublish it if you're not ready for someone to see. You can also save it as a draft so you can continually work on it until you're ready to publish it, and when you or your students are ready to publish their blog, they click publish. You can continue to add blog entries, and here you can also see comments that were made on different blogs. As you can see, no one has commented on my blogs because pretty much no one has seen it yet. And when you go back over there, it will show you which blog has comments so that you can go back and approve it. This is a great real-world way to teach your students about the importance of taking your time and doing your best with writing, because it's going to be seen by a classroom audience. You can also share this among your grade levels, and other students can comment on each other's writings. I would also definitely include what's an appropriate comment, what's an inappropriate comment, and because everyone logs into itsLearning, it'd be pretty easy to see who's making inappropriate comments so that you can follow up with them privately. Another thing you can do is you can create individual portfolios. Now, while it sounds like it's some big massive thing, it's actually basically a page, or it could actually be anything you want it to be. The available disk space it shows that we have, and I've used 1%, is 50 megabytes, and it actually goes a little farther than I would have thought. I already have two things in my portfolio. One is a journal of learning, and I put information here about hatching chicks, and I included a picture, and this is my portfolio URL, and you can kind of see how that is used, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how to create one. I also embedded my Wixie projects. So I am able to create things in Wixie and embed them right on my page, and they will play for the viewer of my portfolio. So as you can see, you can take a lot of these things that kids are creating and bring them all into itsLearning as one place for them to share their information. And I'm hoping that they'll expand our data even more. So we'll see how that goes. And if not, you can always create links. So back to our portfolios, and let's talk about how to create a portfolio. When you create a new portfolio, you just click on the plus sign and you give it a name. And I think I'm going to name mine All About Me because I created a project in Wixie that I would like to share with you. Please check out my portfolio. Now, obviously, if I was sharing this out for real, this will be deleted after my videos, I would take a little more care in planning, and that's, of course, what you would stress with your students. So when we look here, we are actually going to pop over to Wixie, and I'm going to click on my Wixie tab, and I already have it pulled up. Now, every time a student creates a Wixie project, they are able to share it via a URL or a web address. To get to this web address, you need to be on a computer to make it more easy, and you click on Send. You copy the project embed code, and I'm going to choose a small one here, a fairly small one. And it doesn't act like it does anything, but it actually copied it. And I'm going to go back to my itsLearning page and click on my source code. I'm going to copy right here, and I'm going to do Command V to paste my code. All right. Now, it's going to allow me to enter a short name. I am actually going to name it just Wixie Project. And you will check your availability. If anyone else has named theirs Wixie Project, you probably won't be able to use that. Now, what I did is when I set up my URL, it gave me a number. I could change that to my name, which is fine, but I'm actually going to leave mine a number because I know it's a unique number that no one else on itsLearning would have. Otherwise, they generate a new one for me. I'm also going to make sure it's visible in ePortfolio. I'm going to stick with my theme. It's going to be my theme, and I'm going to show you this in just one moment. And I am going to click Save. So when I go back to my ePortfolio, I'm going to click on Show My ePortfolio. Now first, I know you're a teacher like me and you want all your stuff set up. So go to your settings and permissions and let's get stuff set up the way you would want to, because nobody wants a plain blog page. Everyone wants their stuff to look nice. I get it. So your start page, you can pick any one of your pages in your portfolio to be your start page. I'm going to stick with About Me. I'm including my blog and my About Me page in my settings to be public. You can also choose different themes. So I can choose any of these themes within here. You can pick any of your favorite colors, make it look nice. I can pick Summer Sky and change my whole theme to be that. Now this is where I was talking about entering a short name. Here it's at itslearning.com/46811. That's my itsLearning webpage. I can change this to be S. Brandon, or I could just leave this the way it is. Now, I caution you with using this with your students and really talking to them about this because you don't want them using their first and last names. Because this is public and they can see this on any website, I think it might be a good idea to keep it a number unless the county tells us otherwise. Check the availability, folder names available, so I know I'm ready to go, and everything after that should be open because there's no one else that is going to have that number along with those folders. We all may have the same exact files as our endings, but we would not have the same exact identifying number. So we can talk a little bit more about this as we start planning for next year and as our county shares more information with us. But I'm always erring on the side of caution. Now, you can add external resources, you can move things up and down. I'm not going to do anything there right now. Here I'm going to go down to Access. Who can access your ePortfolio? You can make it private where only those children can log in and see them, which I think is perfectly acceptable, especially with our younger students. My courses and communities. This is a great way for your students to share with people that have to log into itsLearning, so that would only be seen by their parents and their classmates. I think this is also a perfect choice for our K1, 2, and 3 crowd. All users of this site, which means anyone that's a member of itsLearning could see it once they log in, or available on the internet. As a teacher, I have selected available on the internet because I plan to use this in place of my website next year. So I am leaving mine here. With students, I would definitely set it as my courses and communities so that only the kids within itsLearning can see each other's items. And as we learn more about itsLearning next year, we may feel differently, but for now, again, err on the side of caution. And it says use the above access settings for all of my portfolios and blogs. So you don't have to keep going back in and checking every single thing to be accessed by people. It will automatically use these settings if you check this. So I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to go to Show My ePortfolio. When you do this, it pulls it up with the cute little template that you selected. It has my email on there. Now students will not have email. There's no reason for them to put their email addresses here. It did kind of mess with my pictures a little bit. In some of the other templates, it does not mess with it. You might have to go back in and tweak that. But it also shows you my blog. So when you click on my blog, you can see my blog. You can add a comment to it if you would like. You can see my journal of learning when I talked about the chicks. Now I'm still trying to figure out why it does not show the template on these pages, and quite honestly I don't know if it's because I'm working on a Mac. It may look differently on a PC, and I will continue looking at that. We'll try it back at school and see if it does the same thing. But you can also see my Wixie projects, and it will pull up a project that I embedded. Here's my New England Times. And that is how it embeds it right on your page. So when students want to share their learning with others, this is a great way for them to share. To get back to your workspace in itsLearning, this is a new tab that opened up, and as you can see, my address right up here shows my information. This has my little code, how they recognize me along with my page. All I do is go back to itsLearning, and I can continue working on this. Keep in mind that students can set up portfolios for the different things you're learning. They can use blog entries to answer not just writing, but you can answer math questions related to social studies, responding to books. There are a lot of different things you can use with ePortfolio. I hope you find this useful, and I hope you try this out with your students. I have one little addendum to creating portfolios. A few moments ago, I showed you the portfolio and it didn't look like any of my other pages. Well, after doing a little bit more messing around, I realized that I just needed to change something in my settings. When you create your new portfolio and you create all of your information and you scroll down, where it says theme, go ahead and manually click on changing your theme. And actually, you can repick the same theme or you can do something completely different. But I've noticed that if I don't actually go back and pick my theme and save it, it will not actually save my theme. And then it makes a plain page, which I don't like. So when I go back to my ePortfolio and I look at my portfolios that are already created, I can go in and I can adjust these. So when I click on this, I can go over to my cogwheel on the right and I can change my portfolio settings. When I go down here, I'm going to go to Change Theme, reselect the theme I want, save it, and when I go back to check my portfolios, it should look the way I want it to look. So when I go to All About Me, I now have my theme. So together we learned something new. I hope you will try this out on your own and learn a little bit more about ePortfolios.